re-advertise. Contact the 3 plan holders and find out why they didn't, none of the 3 submitted, and we'll re-advertise. Give them a short, go short on that. Well, I think and I need to check to see if we legally have to do the 2 ads in 10 days again, or if we can just simply.
I think you probably do.
So it won't be next meeting, it'll be the meeting after.
Okay.
So moving on to the next item, we have Morehouse Road right-of-way services contract with DLZ Engineering in the amount of $265,985.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this service contract with DLZ as stated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
We have 3 street acceptances. The first is Hickory Ridge Subdivision Phase 3, Section 2. Includes Behringer Court, Behringer Drive, Fieldstone Drive, for a total of 1,684 feet, 35 lots.
Mr. President, I'd move that we accept the streets as outlined by our highway engineer.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Our second acceptance is Auburn Meadows Subdivision, Section 2. It includes Arena Drive, Endurance Drive, Full Drive, Fossey Street, and Hayloft Drive, 3,904 linear feet of street, serving 74 lots.
Mr. President, I move that we accept these streets for Auburn Meadows as stated.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
The final street acceptance is Fieldstone Subdivision, Phase 2, Colsiter Drive, Confidence Drive, Groom Lane, Kings Rail Drive, Shale Crescent Drive, and Thorny Lane, 3,905 linear feet of street, serving 87 lots.
Mr. President, I'd move for approval of the streets in the Fieldstone subdivision Phase 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
And we have bonds for all 3 of these subdivisions. First 2 are for Hickory Ridge from Milestone Contractors, $28,645, and Atlas Excavating, $12,821.50.
Mr. President, I move that we accept these 2 bond statements as presented.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Auburn Meadows has 1 bond from Atlas Excavating in the amount of $101,675.90.
Mr. President, I move we accept the subdivision street maintenance bond for Atlas Excavating and the Auburn Meadows subdivision.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
We have 2 bonds for Fieldstone Phase 2, Milestone in the amount of $56,430, and Merit Contracting in the amount of $90,651.90.
Mr. President, I move that we accept these 2 bond maintenance for subdivisions for as stated.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Finally, we have a continuation certificate for Maxwell Farm Drainage Inc. in the amount of $5,000.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the continuation certificate for Maxwell Farm Drainage.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. Thank you, Stu. All right. Next, we have a resolution for the innkeepers tax fund. Doug?
Yeah, this is, establishes the county share innkeepers tax fund, and this is a reaction to state legislation which changed the distribution of our county's innkeeper tax. Previously, 30%, I believe, went to DNR. Now only 10% goes to DNR, and the other 20% goes basically to the county council. It says to wherever the council wants it allocated. So this creates a fund for that money to to go when the innkeeper's tax is distributed to the various entities.
Jennifer, do you have anything to add in regard to the fund? Okay.
Mr. President, I move that we approve resolution number 2021-21-CM innkeeper tax fund.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of that resolution. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes. Okay, and Doug, you're up again with the resolution to opt out of the opioid settlement.
Yeah, so this is, as you said, a resolution to opt out of the state opioid settlement. You may have seen that Lafayette and West Lafayette did something similar a week or two ago. Our class counsel, who's representing us in the, as part of the class action that the county's involved in, has recommended that we also opt out. This is in response, again, to state legislation that passed. Basically, it says that if you don't opt out, then you are bound by the state settlement and your individual or your class case can't go forward. And the sense is that I think it's 15% of the settlement under the state's statute goes to political subdivisions all across the state. And so the sense is that we'll do a little better if we are part of our own class. And I think another issue is that, and I'm not sure if our council is committed to this fully, the statute makes it sound that like we've sued a variety of entities, not all of whom have been sued by the state. And so if the state has not sued somebody that we have, then there might be no recovery against that entity. So the recommendation of class counsel is to opt out of this opioid settlement. And just so you know, under the statute, there's a 60-day window where you could theoretically opt back in if that made more sense.
And in your realm, have you heard of anybody, any county or municipality that actually opted in?
Well, nobody opts in
You automatically
because
are
the
in.
statute that was passed as part of the budget bill makes every political subdivision
Okay.
part of the state settlement and forecloses their ability to pursue settlements on their own unless you opt out.
Unless you take this action. Okay. All right. Questions in regard to that? Sure.
Mr. President, I would move that we adopt Resolution 2021-22-CM to opt out of the opioid settlement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. And Doug, a third time.
This one is not in reaction to a state statute. This creates the Fairgrounds Support Fund. This reflects the fact that we have completed construction on the fairgrounds, or at least pretty close, and are expected to generate more revenue and more expenses. And this is basically more than anything else, I think it's a tracking mechanism. But it says that revenues generated at the fairgrounds, and this includes deposits, leases, as well as any other money appropriated by the county council for that purpose would go into this fund, and then it can be used to pay anything in support of the fairgrounds, including maintenance costs, costs related to improvements, reimbursement of event deposits, insurance costs, salaries, payments to vendors providing services, and transfers to other county funds to offset fairgrounds-related expenses of those funds.
Okay. Questions in regard to that resolution?
Could I ask a question? This is not rental fees. This is other revenue sources.
Well, initially it was because of the national corporate sponsorship were slowly getting up, but Doug did put in rental fees.
I
So,
did. Did you, if that's problematic,
Well, we've got,
I mean,
the general fund's got a couple $100,000. All the salaries are budgeted out of the general fund.
and this could be where now this transfer to the general fund all bills could come out of this fund now.
But there wouldn't be enough money at the beginning to be able to support the salaries either that.
Right.
So is there a better alternative for that? That the revenues, the rental revenues stay within the general fund and this just be sponsorship?
I would like to see at least the amount, the rental revenue to stay in the general fund until at least the budget that is put in the general fund for fairgrounds purposes has been met. You know, I could see putting money in here once we have, you know, basically paid back the general fund for all the expenses. Because right now, we have all the utilities, all of the expenses of the fairgrounds are in the general fund, with the exception of that new employee in Enid. But we have budgeted $50,000 in 2021 for general fund revenue from the fairgrounds.
And I can agree with you, Bob, on this thing. I think we're trying to figure out exactly with this corporate sponsorship coming in, and that's really wanting to stay with the fairgrounds of looking for a place to have where that money could directly go to.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with the corporate sponsorship sort of things, but at least the general fund can't be taking a hit of
Right.
$250,000 and then all the money is put over here for whatever purposes you want to use it for.
So if you wanted to do that, and so we could just put it right at sponsorships and then anything else, you know, the council wanted to put in there and donations and things. And then if we wanted to modify that going forward, we can certainly amend the resolution. So if you wanted to amend the proposed resolution, I can't remember, has the motion been made to pass the resolution?
I don't think we got to
No,
a
sir.
motion yet.
Why don't
Okay.
you give us a sense of the amendment, and
Yeah.
then I'll make it as.
Right, right. So on the, be it resolved, basically the,
Second to last.
yeah, so it'd be it further resolved that money in the fund shall consist of revenues generated by and through, and then strike the fairgrounds, including those related to the lease of the fairgrounds. Have it say, so that the money in the fund shall consist of revenues generated by and through commercial sponsorships at the fairgrounds, money appropriated by the county council for deposit in the fund, and gifts, grants, and donations intended for deposit in the fund.
Mr. President, I move that we approve Resolution 2021-23-CM Fairground Support Fund as amended, or as changed.
Second.
And then just a quick question, will you create a new one then, or are we going to sign the,
Why don't I just, I'll send you a updated
revised one.
version that you can sign.
okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second to approve that resolution as amended. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. Thank you, Bob. Next, we have creation of new position for the prosecutor's office. Pat? Good morning.
I had to go back in my memory banks and talk with Shirley on this one. You can see the date started back in March of 2019, but then in that, I talked with my council reps during that year. This was approved by the HR Personnel Committee. And we had 2017, we had the Superior 7 coming online, and basically Roland said, hey, you know, you need to worry about staffing your Superior Court 7. So we kind of put the brakes on that during the budget process, and then COVID hit, and we put the brakes on 2 more times. So now I'm here almost 2 years later, or more than 2 years later. This is for, as you know, I have one office administrator, and she does everything for us. She does everything in the office: payroll, grants, billings, HR, interviews, everything there is. We've grown the size of 70 people. Literally, she comes in every morning about 7 a.m. She leaves about 4:35. She works Sunday afternoons. So we've grown so big, we really need a full-time assistant, professional administrative, to help her, and that's what this position is. I'll entertain any questions you may have.
So, and how is it being funded?
It would be from the general fund.
General fund. And so your council reps have been engaged, and they know you're bringing this.
They were engaged in March of 2019, and now unfortunately, the person who engaged the most is leaving, so I have to find out whether the discussions we had back then still have merit and weight, or if I have to basically replow that field with them.
And are you proposing this position to begin immediately or at the start of the year?
This current year,
So immediately?
immediately.
Okay. And then, so you'll be doing not only, you'll be asking for an additional appropriation?
Yes.
Okay. You've not had contact with them yet. In other words, we don't know that they're supportive of that as of yet.
I don't want to state publicly what they were going to do, because that may have changed, but before all these other things occurred to us, the position, obviously I talked to them before I went to the HR committee to make sure my council reps were on board with it, because I have to get your approval and their approval. I assume since, we're through COVID and the budget looks good and the revenue stream looks okay, that will not be an issue. It'll be based more on need than ability to fund.
If I understand right, it's a PAT 3 is what's coming in as?
Yes.
And that's basically 45,000 starting. Shirley, do you remember? I mean, that's what I last saw on the chart, was basically in that range.
And do you recall when it went through personnel?
I
If
don't
it-
remember it coming through. Okay.
I asked Shirley before I came over, I go, I can't remember
I
what
don't
we talked
remember.
about.
Yeah, if you could,
Yeah, it has been a while, but we were doing this, like Pat said, back in 2019 to get ready for the 2020 budget. And it went through Wagner, the position description was approved and the level was approved at a PAT 3. So it went through committee, and then it was supposed to, it kind of halted because it needed to have money before you guys could approve it.
okay. And I'm not, the only thing I would caution is we want to make sure that if we do approve it and for some reason council does not fund it, we just need to come back and eliminate that position.
Is that all you need from me?
Yes.
I would anticipate if you approve it and council approves it, and by the time we go through the interview process, it would not, realistically, we'd probably be looking at after September before we even start, or October before we start interviews. So if it does hit this general budget this year, you're probably looking at maybe at most, 2 months of, at most 3 months of actual funding it till next year.
Okay. And obviously a salary statement would have to go to
Yeah,
council.
yeah, the salary statement. So by the time, almost when you'd be going to council, we'd almost be completed the budget hearings for '22 already. So we would know
Yes.
that if we have money for '22, we can do it for '21.
So you
that'll-
prefer me to put this in, if you approve it, to put it in I haven't put it in my 2022 budget, though.
Yeah, I think you want to, if they create it here, you want to
Okay.
do that, so.
Yeah.
And I think we can either send you new forms that's
That'd
not
be great.
protected,
I
or
appreciate it.
she may have unprotected ones already.
Yeah.
But-
We didn't ask for any positions at all for 2022, so this, if we do it that way, this would be the one position we ask for next year. Seriously, Dave.
No, I think that's the first time in how many years, Pat? I'm proud of you. Good job.
He's asking for it now instead.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's fine. That's fine.
Mr. President, I would move that we grant creation of the new position of the prosecutor's office, the administrative coordinator, as a PAT 3.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
I
Thank
actually
you.
think in 2010, I didn't ask for anybody.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is an appointment to Tippecanoe County Redevelopment Commission. I'd like to recommend Chris Lowe to fill that position. That's a position that's being vacated by the resignation of Bart Burrell. And I would also like to thank Bart for his many years of service to the Redevelopment Commission. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Chris Lowe.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes. we have one application to the villa.
Mr. President, I move that we accept James Odell Henry to the Tippecanoe Villa.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. Okay. Grants. Morning.
Morning.
The only grant we have to apply this month is for Community Corrections. Would like to apply for the Indiana Healthy Workplace Grant that provides workplace with funding for technical assistance for health-focused activities and programs that will benefit the wellness of the employees and their families.
Mr. President, I move that we grant permission to apply as stated.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you. And then we have a contract, the Health Department has a contract with the Indiana Department of Health vaccine reimbursement for immunizations through December 31, 2021, and the contract sets the reimbursement prices. Just need your approval. You do not have to sign it, but I just need your approval to sign it, please.
That's what we have in the file?
Yes.
But it does not require
It
a
does
signature?
not require
Okay.
your signatures, but I
Okay.
just need to have you guys approve it.
Okay.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the MOU contract with IDH for vaccine reimbursement.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
And finally, we would like to approve the minutes and written comments that were at the SRF public meeting held May 17th here after our commissioners' meeting. This is concerning the PER for the ABC Regional Sewer District, and this is just a formality of approving the minutes as corrected by Commissioner Brown.
Mr. President, I'd move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we have some change orders. The first set is from the Tippecanoe County Central Offices. The first one is for $5,151, and that is to add additional framing for a mechanical room on the main floor. And with that, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. The second one is for $3,420 to insulate masonry cores that were disturbed during demolition and mechanical routing. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. And the next two are for the addition of, after the contract was awarded, it was decided to add a generator to the building for safety purposes. That is, the generator amount is the amount of $50,000 plus the installation with Houston Electric is $52,670. I'll entertain a motion to approve those two.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes. And those all stay obviously within the contingency of the project, so we're not over budget on those. And then it looks like we have 5 from the fairgrounds.
First one is from Bill Lawrence Company, is for their final walkthrough, is an increase of $1,779.50. I move that we approve that change order.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes.
Next one's from Shepler Construction Company. It's an increase of $6,330. This installs steel and support brackets for the gutters. They're at the back end of the building. I move that we approve that change order.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes.
Next one is from Eberhart Heating and Cooling. This is an increase of $4,111.75. This is for some extra duct work done throughout the entire facility. I move that we approve that change order.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes.
Next one's from Davidson Excavating, an increase of $2,440. This is for changing some of the gates and fencing throughout the area. I would move that we approve that change order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Last one's the one we really like to see, is from J.R. Kelly Company, is a deduct of $8,844.41, and this is from unused allowance. So I would move that we approve that change order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right. Reports on file. We have a report from the clerk of the circuit court, from the Tippecanoe County treasurer, from Crystal Creek Boarding Kennel, the Tippecanoe County Coroner's Office, Tippecanoe County Central Mail and Duplicating, and Weights and Measures, and those will all be on file in the Commissioner's office. Unfinished or new business? Okay, and public comment?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.